Yes, yes, yes. What? What? No way! Was that an accident? Sami Zayn is your WWE champion, and boy howdy, did it shock myself and a lot of other people in all the good ways. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I've always liked Sami Zayn's character. In fact, I hated when he beat Gunther for the Intercontinental title, and then he proceeded to continuously beat Chad Gable. Hated that Sami Zayn. But I loved the Bloodline Sami Zayn, the Conspiracy Theory Sami Zayn, and I loved the current, the last good guy, Sami Zayn. So for him to win the title right now was the perfect storm for me. I've always, no matter what, even when I didn't like his character work, I've always respected the guy and how much love he's had for the business and how he's willing to put people over and everything. So, like, never called into question any of that. It's always been his character work. Sometimes I loved him, sometimes I hated him. Currently, though, love him. And for him to win the title, like, I'm just super happy about that, and I'm very glad that most of the internet is happy as well. Yeah, I've heard some people say he doesn't have the look, or they only did it because he's in Saudi Arabia, but you know what? There's always going to be people not happy. You can't please everyone. Literally, I could give someone $1 million and they would be like, yeah, but I got to pay taxes on it. Okay, fine, don't be happy. And on the flip side, though, it is okay to actually not like Sami as champion, because guess what? He's a heel. You're supposed to not like him as champion. I just happen to usually like heels, so that's my champion right there. That's my dog, as Jey Uso would say. Kind of reminds me of actually when Mick Foley won way back in the day, I think 1999. Some people might compare it to like Kofi Kingston or Daniel Bryan, but I wouldn't, because Kofi and Daniel Bryan, you can compare those two together because they had that groundswell of support from the fans. Kind of like the fans would like basically hijack shows and say, yeah, WWE, you better make these guys your top guys. And then they won at WrestleMania. But Sami Zayn and Mick Foley, who both kind of look like they don't belong with the belt on their shoulder, and that's not an insult. Please hear me, that's not an insult. They just look like normal dudes, and that's okay. In fact, it should inspire normal dudes to realize that anything can happen. So, like, it's actually a compliment on some way. But yeah, so these two normal dudes, they win on a non-big PLE. Mick Foley won on a random Raw, and Sami won on a random B-level PLE. Then it happens right before a giant PLE, so you're like, yeah, there's no way it's gonna happen, and then it does. We knew Sami Zayn could fight for the title, but we knew he wouldn't win it until last night, and he won it. And super pumped that Sami Zayn, the last good guy Sami Zayn, not the ultimate underdog, there is a difference, the last good guy Sami Zayn, happy that he won it, just like when Mick Foley won this belt on my shoulder. And if you want to win this belt on my shoulder, all you got to do is comment below and subscribe to the channel. You see, at 30,000 subscribers, I'm going to give it away. No joke, already gave away 3, free shipping, free everything. Boys, gals, it's not a toy. It's a replica, and it can be yours. If Sami could win it, you can win it. All right, so let's look at some hot takes and see what y'all are saying. We got Raphael at Air says, Sami winning was completely unexpected because most people expected him to get pinned by Gunther or Cody. Looking forward to seeing how they book him. Yes, definitely 100% thought he was there to take the pin. And lo and behold, he gave the pin. Robert Jones says Sami deserves it after carrying the bloodline all that time. Now, I wouldn't say that Sami carried the bloodline, but I will say the bloodline did need something new and fresh, and Sami did provide that. In fact, my favorite period of the bloodline was Sami Zayn. So I wouldn't say he carried it, but I will say that, maybe he did carry it. Maybe he carried it for that year. Huh. Okay. Hot take? I mean, maybe it was like him and Roman. They carried it together, all right? It was like a big old couch. Roman Reigns, acknowledge me, says, I'm so glad Sami won. That water bottle spot on the announce table was the highlight of the entire show. Yeah, I missed it at first, but Sami puts a water bottle on the announce table just to knock it off. I hope the water bottle thing stays. That's what I love about wrestling. Something so minor and minute can get over. Anablon Santos says, shocked Sami won. I didn't think he would win. I like the guy and all, but had not thought that would happen. Same, ditto. I wanted him to win. I like the new character. Didn't think he would win, though. Don't worry. I will get to some other hot takes if you don't like Sami Zayn, but I do want to take a moment and celebrate, so let's do some more. W Potato says, congrats, Sami, but Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker should have main evented. While it was a decent and good cage match that settled the feud, even though I think Braun Breaker should have won. If it had just been Cody Rhodes winning and business as usual, you might have an argument, but the fact that Sami won, I'm glad that he was the main event because, well, A, I usually believe the title should go on last, but B, if Sami had won in the middle of the show or even the beginning of the show, that would have completely overshadowed everything else, and that's all people would have been talking about. Alfonso Passion says, don't hate, but don't like Sami. But if they were going to make him champion, at least have it on a smaller stage and not win at Saudi. You know, dang, I wanted Gunther, and now he is even a bigger loser. So I will say that Gunther looks the worst in all of this. Ever since coming to SmackDown, he's looked like a chump. But that's a whole separate issue than Sami Zayn winning. And again, Alfonso Passion, again, you're allowed to not want Sami to win. In fact, that just shows that Sami's doing a good job as a heel because you don't want him to win. But I am also glad that he won in Saudi Arabia because my fear, if he didn't win at Night of Champions, my fear is that they would have wanted him to win at WrestleMania 43. Now we got the big win out of the way. And I'm not saying they need to make him lose at WrestleMania. I just don't want it to be a foregone conclusion that he will win at WrestleMania. Matt is Haunted says Sami Zayn is going to be insufferable as champion, and I'm all here for it. Ride or die, baby. Yes. I need this Sami Zayn to be champion. I don't need Triple H to go, oh, you hear that pop? Let's make him a babyface now. And then when they totally 180 his character and the fans reject that character, he then blames us. Well, I pushed the guy you liked and then you still booed him. Can't please no one. No. You can't push the guy we like and then change him like you did Jey Uso. Wrestle Don says, I really hope the announce team was glazing Sami after the win was just to appease the Saudis in the moment and not because we're going back to him being the underdog character. Exactly. You want to give him his props, his flowers last night. Let him enjoy the moment. Totally okay with that. Let him celebrate with people. But when he comes back on Friday night, I want everybody booing him. And I want Sami Zayn rubbing it in everybody's face. Tiz Mickey says, I'm so shocked right now. I mean, I said Sami would win, but when Jey lost, I knew that was off the table. Like, who will they have Sami face at SummerSlam that people will actually care about? Or are they just going to take it from him before, like they did with Drew? I bet at Saturday's main event, they take it from him. I know a lot of people will be mad about that, but like Sami Zayn said in his speech last night, doesn't matter if I have it for just one day. All that matters is right now I have it and I will go down in the history books as a WWE champion. That would then also be more like the Mick Foley title reign as well because the dude held it for like 2 weeks. He won it and then he lost it at like the Super Bowl halftime, I think. Or did he lose it at Royal Rumble? I know when Mick won it, he had it only for a very short period of time. And I do think that's what they're going to do with Sami Zayn. All right, let's do one more, then talk about how Obafemi tapped out. Okay, we got Just Nanu says, Sami Zayn winning was absolutely deserved. Am I scared that WWE really doesn't have any long-term plans for this? Of course, but I'm here to live in the moment, baby. Yes, I think that's what we need to do right now. Let's just appreciate that title win. man, like, when it happened, it took me like half a second to register what just happened. I thought it might have been an accident, to tell you the truth. This Sami Zayn title reign is not going to be a Roman Reigns 1,316-day title reign. It's going to be closer to a Mick Foley 2-week title reign. And, you know, I'm okay with that. Let's just enjoy Sami enjoying his victory. I love AEW Wrestling says, I think Oba Femi's best match was with Jey Uso because Oba got to do more than 4 moves. Isn't that crazy? Oba Femi's best 2 matches on the roster so far have been against Kit Wilson and Jey Uso. So that's insane. But you know what? Props to both of them because I think it was a great match. And I loved this match. I love that Oba Femi actually got to be the NXT Oba Femi, where he got to actually wrestle. That it took more than 4 moves. That it took more than 4 minutes to beat somebody. I think on my other video, my One Take One Shot, someone was like, oh, so you're just happy that Jey Uso put up a better fight than Brock Lesnar? Which, I guess that's a legit gripe. However, I would answer it this way. Yes, I am. Because the sooner we get out of Squash Machine Oba Femi, the better it is. Like, we need to have Oba be more than a one-dimensional character who can only last 5 minutes in the ring. So, like, I don't think Jey Uso can beat Brock Lesnar, but I'm okay with him putting up a better match than Brock Lesnar. And in reality, Brock even has different matches with smaller guys. Whenever Brock fought another big dude, it was all power moves. But whenever Brock fought smaller guys like Daniel Bryan or AJ Styles, it was always more of a challenge for him. So in reality, Oba having a bigger challenge against someone smaller than Brock Lesnar actually tracks with how Brock was presented. So, you know, Oba just being presented as the next Brock Lesnar still. Shazam Hassan says, after seeing Jey Uso's Instagram, I am really worried that they're going to start presenting his sleeper hold as the deadliest move in sports entertainment. So if you didn't see it, Jey Uso actually posted on Instagram, he tapped, saying that Oba Femi tapped. And if you go back, technically, Oba Femi did tap. Now, he really didn't. We know he didn't. But when he's in the sleeper, Oba Femi actually, he kind of hulks up, right? But as he's hulking up, he's like this. He's like hitting the mat. But he's like doing it to like kind of like, you know, he's hyping himself up. But technically speaking, he was in a submission hold and he tapped the mat 3 times. The context is key here, but if we're just going off of facts, then yes, Oba Femi did actually tap out. Context is key. We know he didn't, but Jey Uso, if he wanted to play it up, he does have a case. And I also think Bronson Reed brought it up on his Twitter. So, like, I think they'll just blow past that. And that's probably more of just a rookie mistake on Oba's part. And he just needs to be coached to not tap 3 times when he's hulking up in a submission move. Wrestling Cash says, the new face of WWE, Sami Zayn, needs to thank Karrion Kross. Yeah, you know, Karrion Kross is the guy who set him on that path to realizing heel Sami is the best Sami, so you better send him a gift basket. Errol Noir says, again, why was Liv in this? Io still chooses her. I am so, like, mind-boggled with how they treated the women's title since WrestleMania. Like, Liv Morgan in the Queen of the Ring, that made no sense. Liv Morgan losing in the finals of Queen of the Ring, that made no sense. Io Sky instantly picking Liv Morgan, well, that kind of makes sense, but it's just boring storytelling. At that point, why do we want to see it? We just saw you beat her clean. Liv Morgan, as the women's world champion, should not have been in this. And then prayers for Braun Breaker's family, R.I.P. Braun Breaker was buried last night. I know it was a competitive match, but like, they just keep digging up his body so they can bury it down further. Braun Breaker has gotten nothing, absolutely nothing out of being as part of the Vision. Oh, excuse me, no. He actually became tag team champion when Logan Paul got injured and they handed him the belt. And then he lost it on his first title reign. So technically, he got a tag team championship run out of this. Kind of. Like, oh, thoughts and prayers for the Steiner family. Eric Shook says, hot take, the curse spoiled the match. I didn't think Liv would win, but after the curse, I knew for sure she was going to lose. You're right, the curse totally killed it for me. Like, it just got rid of all the suspension of disbelief because I knew at that point there was just no way Liv was going to win. Just don't do the curse. Do the curse on Monday Night Raw if you had to. It didn't even come to play where Liv accidentally slipped on a banana peel or anything, so just don't do it. Have Liv super upset that she lost and then confront Danhausen, and then Danhausen puts a curse on her. Adam the Alien says, the main event tonight is why I watch wrestling since I was 8 years old. I love this so much I can't even explain. WWE for life. I agree. This is one of those moments that does bring you back, that you remember why you're a fan. It was unpredictable. It wasn't safe. Ghostly Raz Grizz says, most of the show was pretty good. Gunther not winning ruined the main event. Both Cody and Sami are on my segment skip list. They're boring. I don't find this version of Sami boring, so we disagree there. However, as a Gunther fan myself, I have started to feel the same exact way about Gunther as I did about Braun Breaker about 3 months ago. About 3 months ago, I pretty much was like, yeah, I have lost all interest in Braun Breaker. Huge Braun Breaker fan, but the way they booked him made me just one day realize, I was like, yeah, I just don't care anymore. And that's what they're doing to Gunther. So I do feel for you. I do understand why Gunther fans would be livid. Even if they're happy for Sami winning, I do understand why Gunther fans would not still like that Sami won. Just Call Me D says, I don't know whose momentum has been shattered the most, Gunther or Braun's. I would say probably Braun, because like he has accomplished nothing, like I just talked about a little bit ago. But Gunther's catching up real quick because Gunther has major accomplishments, and they're all being squandered, from his longest title reign of all time, Intercontinental title reign, 2 world championships, retiring John Cena, retiring AJ Styles, retiring some other dude. It's like Gunther has some like big time accomplishments, and I need a lawyer. And Braun Breaker just, I mean, the guy can't buy a victory. So, like, it's neck and neck on who's losing the most momentum. And what people are going to hear is, well, I thought you wanted Sami to win. These are two separate issues. Me loving the fact that Sami won and the burial of Gunther, those are two separate issues, believe it or not. Killer Wolf says, so happy Seth finally defeated the Vision for good. I mean, I'm glad the storyline's over, but I honestly think that Braun should have been the victor in that feud. And then Seth could have just went off and said, you know what? I did what I meant to do. I wanted to raise up the next generation. Braun Breaker, he beat me. He has shown he is worthy now of being in the main event scene. So, mission accomplished. Now I'm going to go and show that I'm still worthy of it being in the main event scene and go and fight for a title. Mega Miley says, hot take, I should not be able to watch a full match bell to bell in between 2 matches during a PLE. Okay, so what happened was they were on my live stream and basically they missed the first match, Jay versus Oba, and in between Braun Breaker and Seth, Rick and Ricky, they were able to watch the entire match. That's how much time is in between WWE matches, and I agree. So I did like the PLE. I liked it more so this morning when I woke up than I did last night when I did my one take, one shot. But I will say that there is still definitely too much advertisements and dead space in between matches. We need to hurry them up. All right, boys. All right, girls. Those are your hot takes for Night of Champions. Let me know in the comments below. Are you happy for Sami or not so much? See ya, bye.